Just a pilot in his cockpit seated. Black leather on his ass, keep a hustler heated.
Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. So I just wanted to give an update on the Charger here. Couple things. First thing is I hit some there was some sort of road debris that was flying around, and I tried my best to avoid it, but I couldn't do it without getting into an accident, so I ended up hitting some sort of thing. These aren't scratches, they just seem to be abrasions on the paint, so those will have to be buffed out, but that sucks. First major issue, I guess. Not a big deal, but still not happy about it. But the main topic that I wanted to discuss today is these tires. As you can see, 245 45/20. So we got a car here on 245s front and rear that has 485 horsepower and 485 pound-feet of torque. As you can imagine, that's quite ridiculous, and it's even more ridiculous when you drive it. I'm just going to attempt a few 0 to 60 runs and just kind of floor it a little bit and just show just quite how bad it is. Then I'll tell you what I'm doing about it. So let's start with the nice cold start. Man, that is loud. And in my typical fashion, the car is already becoming a mess. Got all kinds of junk in it. Car seats in the back. But that's how I roll. I tend to, you know, kind of destroy every car I own. I did really good with the WRX, which is why it was so disappointing that it got messed up. But it is what it is. Okay, so you can see here my last and best. As you can see here, my best 0 to 60 is 5.5, and that was not an easy number to get. I didn't like try a whole bunch of times. I tried like twice. So we'll just try with full traction control on and everything and see what we can get. So again, 5.5. And that's with it spinning a little bit in the beginning and me trying to just back out enough to get it to hook. And it still isn't hooking for shit. Like, I've never seen a car with as bad a traction as this one. It's really awful. What I'm gonna see if I can do here is maybe putting it in sport. We'll do something. So it's in sport, which means the traction control is gonna be in the sport mode, and the transmission is going to be in sport mode as well. And let's see if that makes any difference. I don't really feel like it will, but we will see. So we're going to try this in sport. Going to just do the same thing, just light throttle. So that was a little bit better, 5.3. I'm still pushing the gas too hard in the beginning, and I guess I'm just too used to driving a WRX that has, you know, half the power and twice the traction, which makes just launching it a completely different experience. And it was a manual, so. But I'm gonna try something different right here. I'm gonna try it in second gear, just starting it in second gear. I'm gonna turn the traction control off completely. On sport, but I'll just leave it in sport. So I'm going to try it in second gear, and I'm going to give it a little tiny bit of gas, because these have been without any gas whatsoever on the launch. I'm not power braking it, nothing. I'm just hitting the gas, because power braking, I think, is just going to give it a little bit more power. It would load the transmission, but that's not going to make any difference, because the tires are going to be so spinny that it will make zero difference. So let's try this. Little tiny bit of gas in second. Okay. Okay. So that's why I don't give it any gas. So in second gear, I floored it, I figured it was tall enough where it would hook. Completely blew the tire off, starting in second gear. Now that is awful. It just kind of shows the level of traction that this thing gets, and it is very, very poor. So I'm sure there's like a better launching technique that I can use in this thing to get it down to a more reasonable 0 to 60 time, but obviously I don't have that technique. So I'm gonna try again in second gear, and I'm just gonna give it light throttle. Okay, so it didn't actually start in second gear there. It shifted for me before I was anticipating it. So, but as you saw there, 5.3 again, which is my personal best so far, which I just got a second ago. But you're kind of getting the theme here. The traction is very, very poor. And not only is it bad when you're like trying to actually accelerate fast, like if you just pull out of an intersection and you give it just a slight amount too much gas, it completely blows the tire off. Like not completely, but I mean it'll spin where you have to like really be careful with the throttle. And I mean, I know it's a car with a lot of power, but it doesn't have that much power where I can't even lightly touch the throttle where it'll just blow the tire off. It's these damn 245 all seasons that it has. It makes the car's performance like it makes it not matter quite as much because you just can't access that performance. So I'm gonna try it again here, starting in second gear. I'm gonna give it light throttle, no power brake or anything, just some gas. So that's it. That was a 5.5. So I mean, maybe with a better surface and a slightly better launch technique, I could see it getting to, you know, maybe a 5.1, 5.2, but you know, anywhere in the 4s without a lot of different changes in the variables like lower tire pressure, like a surface with a hell of a lot better grip, I just don't see it possible. I mean, it's spinning even in second gear with under heavy throttle, starting in second gear. So, you know, first gear is like basically worthless. So, I mean, I know a bunch of people are going to say, oh, you're doing it wrong, you're dumb. But I'm just telling you that this thing is absolutely awful with traction. I mean, it is like, it's almost comical how bad it is. It's hard to believe they actually equipped this car with 485 horsepower with 245 all seasons. Like, it's almost a joke. That is, that's bad. That's bad. It kind of reminds me of, I was getting new tires in my Sonata back when I had my Mustang. So I put the Sonata tires on the Mustang just to, you know, for a laugh. And plus I was just going to get rid of them. I was going to give them away. So I put them on the Mustang. Surprisingly, they bolted right up. And I drove around the Mustang, and it was like, it was so fun. It was like I was ice skating, like under even light throttle. It would light the tires up. And those were, I think, 225s. It was bad, but it was funny. You know, it was a funny thing to do. But this car actually, they've actually done that from the factory, where it just spins its ass off, and it is absolutely awful. And that, I would say, at this point, is the worst thing about this car, is traction. So let me show you what I'm going to do about that. So I just made kind of a mistake. I don't know if it's a mistake, but I just realized I had the AC on. I doubt it'll make any difference, but let's try it without it one time. That is a no. But the car did something weird, like it hit the limiter. Like it did something I didn't tell it to do. It's kind of strange. So let me try that again. think it's as I suspected. The car compensates. Like most cars, it compensates with the AC on. It probably turns it off. Or even if it doesn't turn it off, I think the main factor in my 0 to 60 is going to be traction, not power. I mean, it's got the power, it just can't put it down probably until it's going like 40 or 50 miles an hour. And that's really the problem, not you know, not power. More power wouldn't really improve it. More traction would improve it, but not more power. So I think that's what we're looking at there. But since I did you know, make a mistake in a sense, and I should have turned it off from the beginning, I just figured I would run it again just to make sure I'm not crazy. Just to make sure I didn't do anything wrong and, you know, do something I should have done differently. And as I expected, it made no difference. But I'm going to give it one last try in second gear, no AC. This is going to be it. Oh, there you go, 5.2. And again, I don't think that had anything to do with the AC. I think it just was a little bit better of a launch. It started spinning in second gear. I got out of it. And then I got back in it like almost all the way, and then it hooked right up. But, you know, I was in second, so it was a really tall gear. So, I mean, at least compared to first. But 5.2, we'll call it that. So now when I improve the traction, our baseline is going to be 5.2 because I know this car can do 5.2. On a pretty crappy surface, a normal day, 86 outside. I'll even check my tire pressures. Oops, there we go. So there you go, there's the tire pressures, really high pressure. We'll call it 48 PSI all around. So I know if they were lowered, it would help. A lot of factors would help, but I don't want to drive the car around with low tire pressure. It's going to be worse for mileage. It's going to be, you know, there's really no benefits other than just maybe slightly better traction. So I think this is the right pressure to keep them at, you know, at least for if I was going to the track, obviously I would lower it, but, you know, just driving around town, I don't want to have, you know, 30 pounds or 26 pounds in there, whatever would give the best traction point. I want it to get the best mileage it can and be like the safest and, you know, most realistic. Because this is my daily driver. This isn't some sort of race car or weekend toy. So anyway, 5.2 is what we're going to call it. And so you tell me, do you think... The truck was trying to run me off the road. So do you think... the AC actually made any difference? I don't, but tell me what you think. Glad I did that second test. Most of those results were the same. I did get the 5.2. Don't think it had anything to do with the AC, but regardless, that's where we're at. Okay, back at home now. So I want to show you what my tire solution is going to be, or at least my rim solution. So, as you can see here, I got some factory productions wheels, 20 by 9.5 for the rear, or for the front, and 20 by 10.5 for the rear. So I'm gonna get those installed with some new tires probably this weekend, and we'll be ready to rock and roll. And hopefully it will help my traction situation significantly. But yeah, really need some sort of work to get it to go a little bit quicker. If anyone has any suggestions on how to launch it, well, we really don't need any suggestions right now because I'm gonna get new tires and it's gonna change the whole situation. But I'm usually pretty good at launching cars. I don't have a lot of experience launching powerful automatic cars. My 240 was automatic eventually, but that was the Turbo 400 on a trans brake on ET Street. It is a totally different situation. Launching this car with small tires with crap compound is like one of the hardest launches I've ever done. I mean, it just wants to spin. It's like a joke. But anyway, that's it for now. I'll have some updates on the rims in the next few days, and then we'll check it out. All right, peace, everybody.
Just a pilot in his cockpit seated. Black leather on his ass, keep a hustler heated. Weed is engaged in the pavement. Brother escorts like I'm seeking arrangement. Push the gas, escalate the gauges, escalate hits on the cam girls.